technologie qui s'appelle en anglais word spotting, détection de mots-clés. Okay? Et ça peut être intéressant. Les gens parlent, puis là tu veux savoir si parler de telle chose. Et il y a une tendance maintenant aussi, c'est qu'on appelle topic spotting, essayer de trouver le sujet automatiquement.
Initially, everything is recorded. We would go to a microwave tower and record everything on that microwave tower and bring it back to CSE in a basket. For instance, if we wanted now to get all communications dealing with, say, channel 0, we would ask the computer to filter out everything that contains the words channel 0. And the computer would filter out just that. In other words, one end of the computer would be fed in all the communications we got off the microwave tower, and out the other end of the computer would come out the communications containing the two words channel 0.
Maintenant, on peut passer à des applications sur des PC. Donc, ces applications sont beaucoup moins chères, beaucoup moins dispendieuses qu'il était à l'époque.
How do we create powers that will confine the security intelligence agencies to legitimate security investigations? And even then, what safeguards should we adopt to ensure that the agency stays within its proper parameters?
Bisson is essentially alone, and he's going to have to rely more or less on what CSE tells him about what they're doing to judge what they're doing. It's a curious way of going about appointing a watchdog, huh?
When you're on the outside, when you're not involved, and when you look at the government or the culture or the society in which you live as a kind of a nightmarish conspiracy, then everything is terribly frightening. To know is frightening, not to know is frightening. And so a compromise between knowing and not knowing has worked out a kind of a comic book version of reality.
In every generation, democracy, democratic values, civil liberties are always under challenge. It's the very nature of the human condition to be challenging those civil liberties. And in every generation, those civil liberties have to be renewed.
Clayton Ruby, a Toronto lawyer, was tracked and surveilled by governmental spy agencies because of his extensive involvement in the civil rights movement.
I caused them trouble. I was defending people and getting them acquitted, who they wanted in prison. They didn't like that, so they started to look at me, trying to find out about my personal background, who my father was, what our family was, where my money came from, whether I had single or had girlfriends, that kind of thing. Personal information that they had absolutely no business gathering.
We do, I think, have this sense, this comfortable sense of benign government, but it's largely an assumption that it's going to just keep going that way. And I think we've seen in Ontario in the last year and the last few weeks even, that this can change very quickly, and the authorities and power can be centralized dramatically and quickly. And then we might wake up with seeing that many of these systems that we put in place under the assumption of benign government are no longer working that way.